Automotive Magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson.
Control.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars.
Control.
Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air.
Control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin.
Control.
Because you're on cruise control. Cruise control. Cruise control.
Welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staub and none other than Les Jackson at the wheel, ready to go. And we have a lot to talk about, Les. Dodge is set to revive the Hornet. Guess what? I think it might be a crossover.
Gee, you think?
What do you got?
Why would you say that? And Toyota's Corolla hits a major, huge milestone.
Oh yeah, and it just keeps getting more and more and more sales. Plus, Mercedes and Bugatti are celebrating 70 years at the Pebble Beach Concours Elegance, which is going on this weekend. Les, you don't have your Bermuda shorts and white hat. I don't.
Well, I was going to show my my very, very museum quality pacer.
but you just didn't get around to.
Well, they sent an email that said don't bother.
All right.
Anyway, Audi is showing its Skysphere concept.
Yeah, going to show that at Pebble Beach, and always cool to see that. And what won't you find at your dealer during the end of the 2021 model year? We'll tell you.
That's a good question. That is a good question. I don't. We know what it is, and we'll tell people later. And you are going to review the 2022 Infiniti QX55, which is a SUV.
Yeah, yes, it's a crossover, yes. And we'll have that review and a whole lot more. And Guy Fieri, well, he's made a combination hot dog and apple pie for sure.
I saw this being sampled.
Here it is. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Two great things that you never thought you'd eat at the same time. But we'll talk about that, something he did for Chevrolet. I'm surprised he didn't have a part from a Chevrolet in there. Apple pie, hot dogs, and Chevrolet.
I admire the idea.
Yeah, the concept. It's a concept.
Concept.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. Dodge, our lead story, thinking about bringing back the Hornet, and I think they do need some crossovers in there. Of course, the Journey's gone. It's not really a replacement for the Journey crossover, but it's a little something else. So we'll talk about that when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
welcome back to Cruise Control. I'm Les.
I'm
He's
Fred.
And I know, Fred, that you already want to drive the 2023 Dodge Hornet.
Yes.
Which you can't. I'm sorry.
You know, I was looking for the history of the Hornet, Les. Actually, it's an AMC model, isn't it?
It was, and it was always, well, wasn't exactly a compact, but it was always just sort of a mid, like a Ford Fairlane.
Isn't that the vehicle they took and cut the back off and made the Gremlin?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the very thing.
All right. Well,
it was just a standard, just run-of-the-mill, middle-class car.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Dodge has basically got the trademark application for the name Hornet. And if you look at the Dodge lineup, what do they have? They have performance cars, and then they have the Durango.
That's it.
That's it. They don't have a crossover anymore. The Dodge Journey went away, or is going away. Probably some of them are still kicking around. But according to Mopar Insiders, the Dodge Hornet, which was a 2006 concept and was a crossover at the time, will be brought over as the U.S. version of the Alfa Romeo Tonale. And this will be a small crossover, probably performance-oriented, I would imagine, and will join the lineup in, I guess, 2023, something like that.
2023. It'll be sort of a smaller version of the Stelvio.
Uh-huh. It's going to have a 1.5-liter inline 4 with mild hybrid tech.
Yeah. So I think you're right that it'll be sort of performance, but not, outrageous.
No, but they certainly need a crossover in their lineup. They don't have any crossover. And the Journey, while it was nicely updated, was kind of long in the tooth after 11-year run. Mm-hmm. It was retired in 2020. That's one of those vehicles that you just kind of it was kind of invisible, and then here's another one. Do you remember the Dodge Caliber?
I do.
And then
I do.
And then here's another name for you, the Dodge Nitro. Do you remember that?
That one is a little bit more esoteric.
It's interesting that Dodge had all of these crossovers in their lineup, and then they just don't have any now. It's kind of I guess important to them to get this into their lineup, and we'll have to see. I think there'll probably be a lot more product because, let's face it, only having 3 cars, and Chrysler's even worse. They have a minivan and one very, very old rear-wheel drive car. So we're going to see a lot of new products from these brands.
Well, they have to, or they just won't be competitive.
They won't be competitive. Dealers just won't be able to sell it. You're not going to live on Hellcats and Challengers and Chargers forever. That does not make a brand. So certainly you're going to need more of these for sure. But I think we're going to see these roll out little by little, and the Hornet is a good name, don't you think?
It's a good name. I'm not sure it fits for kind of a crossover family vehicle, but
maybe they're not going for that. Maybe it's the person that owns a Hellcat and they want a little accessory vehicle to go to the store in, right?
Good point.
Yeah, good point. Well, let's talk about a huge success story, and probably all of us have driven a Toyota Corolla at some point. Toyota Corolla. Toyota Times in Japan is reporting that Corolla surpassed 50 million units globally since its debut in the 1960s. 50 million Corollas have been built.
Yep. Yep.
And the crazy thing is 49,550,000 are still on the road. No. No.
I doubt that.
I doubt that. But what a huge... It surpasses the Volkswagen Beetle, the F-Series pickup. Volkswagen Beetle sold 21 million. F-150 sold 40 million. When we come back, we'll do a little bit of a trivia, what the Corolla name means. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine with Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We will be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. So we got you thinking a little bit before the break. We were talking about Toyota Corolla selling 50 million vehicles, the best-selling vehicle of all time. 40 million for F-150, 21 million lifetime total for Volkswagen, the Volkswagen Beetle. What does the Corolla mean, Les? I thought it was a made-up name, just...
I did too. I always thought it was like the Corona, which is another Toyota name.
Right. Well, it is the Corolla. A Corolla is the outermost whorl of a flower composed of petals. So, or it can also be known as the inner envelope of a flower, the part which surrounds the organs of fruitification. Did you ever think I'd use that on cruise control, the word fruitification?
Never thought you would.
Yeah. And it consists of one or more leaves called petals and is usually distinguished by the fineness of its texture and gayness of its colors.
Well, the Japanese, of course, are always they're very avid floral lovers.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. And we've seen other Japanese cars called flowers and fruits, like the cherry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So there you have it. So that is the name of the Corolla. So when you think about a Corolla, think about a flower. Pretty easy to do. Les, I'm surprised you're not at Pebble Beach because it is the 70th anniversary of Pebble Beach, the Concours d'Elegance.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a couple of brands that were there from the beginning. One of them is Mercedes. It's celebrating 70 years at Pebble Beach. Of course, Pebble Beach, let's face it, it's a golf course in a residential area, and it gets invaded every year by classic cars. They do that run of the classic cars, which I like, where they run up along the coast and drive these cars. But it is the birthplace of the SL sports car and many other cool firsts. The BMW 300 SL racing sports car was revealed at Pebble Beach. A lot of these reveals happen here. It's just a beautiful place to do it. And they are celebrating this, along with all the other manufacturers, the legacy of Pebble Beach. And just some beautiful cars under the sun, huh?
Well, the cars that are on display, you have to be invited.
Mm-hmm.
And the cars on display are usually many easily worth millions.
Yes. And many are, but many are driven, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they have a class for those that are driven.
Yeah. Now, Mercedes isn't the only one celebrating being there from the beginning. Bugatti, of course, there's a bit of a more modern Bugatti.
Right.
But Bugatti's been there since the beginning as well. And they have some really interesting stories. Back in I think it was the 80s, they have these vehicles called the Royals, Type
Royale.
Royales, yes. 6 of them. And all 6 that were ever built were displayed in 1985 at Pebble Beach. And the story was, I believe 2 of them were owned by these Frenchmen that owned money to the government. And so the government moved them over to Pebble Beach so they couldn't seize them back. And most came in enclosed trailers, and one came in on a flatbed trailer with a canvas over it, and people freaked out. Flatbed car hauler. But you look at some of these Bugattis, they are beautiful, aren't they? They're just so unique.
Some of them are just exquisite shape.
Yeah. And it's all about the spectacle. And a lot of rich people and a lot of other rich people, non-rich people, pretending to be rich, right?
That's right. It costs money to be just somebody who just goes as part of the crowd.
And what does it cost? Probably $500?
I don't know. It's not cheap. It's not, $10.
A $10 car show. Yeah.
Yeah. No shoes, no shirt.
Right. Get yourself a free soda on the way in.
It's a serious event.
Yeah, serious event. I'm sure you meet. Do you think when Jay Leno goes there, does he wear the denim shirt?
He does. Yes.
He's like, that's me, and I'm just here to look at the cars.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even throw on a sport coat or something like that.
No, usually not. It's funny. The dress can be, it can be, you can be dressed down, but the actual clothing has to be impeccably perfect.
So you can wear jeans, but they have to be pressed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, going on this week at Pebble Beach, interesting stuff. Now, Pebble Beach is also the place where many interesting concepts are shown off, including one from Audi. They are showing off this Skysphere vehicle, which sort of looks a little bit from the side like a Viper, I have to say. But it's much more than that. It is it's making its debut, or made its debut, and as part of the Monterey Car Week on the legendary fairway of the Pebble Beach golf course. And the big thing here is it has a interior where the steering wheel and controls fold away for full autonomous design, and they do it beautifully. And the design here is pretty amazing. The actual steering wheel itself, the outer ring, folds away and folds flat and retracts in. This is an electric vehicle. The drive system has 465 kilowatts of power, 750 newton meters of torque, and it is quite the roadster. It has coach doors that open the way what we used to call suicide doors. Of course, like any true electric supercar, it has a lot of lighting and cool effects on it. But this is a look into the future of Audi and some of the things we will see, including rear wheel steering. Rear wheel steering is making a huge comeback. We talked about it on the Silverado. The Hummer is going to have it. Mercedes is going to have it. And now, of course, it's part of this Skysphere concept called out, and adaptive air suspension, which you need because I think this thing has 26-inch wheels. You will need...
I can guarantee you this will be in a Bond film.
Oh, it definitely looks like a James Bond vehicle for sure. But truthfully, cool, very cool vehicle, very futuristic, electric. It's exciting. It shows you can have exciting electric cars for sure.
Oh, here, I just got this in. One has been ordered by Batman.
Yes, it definitely has a Batmobile look to it. But and by the way, the active suspension can raise or lower each wheel with modulations in the road surface, and it can do it many, many times per second. So this is going to be one smooth customer. Hey, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. When we come back, plenty more. We're going to talk about what you won't find at your car dealer this year.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I are just rolling through the stories today, and we've been giving you, the people interested in buying new vehicles, bad news for the last several months, and now we're going to give even worse.
Well, at least you'll be prepared, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you're looking at millions, or well, certainly hundreds of thousands of people do this every year, they wait for the end of the year
Sure.
to get deals, which you can get.
Yeah, I mean, they want to clear out the cars. The 2022s will be coming in. Got to move those 2021s, right?
Not this year.
Okay.
No deals. There won't really be much of an inventory of 21s
No.
sitting around. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, this is according to Cars Direct. They studied national dealer inventory figures and concluded year-end deals will not be here. Listen to this. This is crazy. You and I, we've had Jim Bell on many times from Kia, and we talk about the Kia Telluride, their super hit. So if you wanted one of them right now, a 2021 model, you would there are only 66 examples of the 2021 model year vehicle of the Kia Telluride left in the U.S.
And it's August.
And it's August. And it is August. So, you know, Hyundai Tucson is sold out. Stinger, Sportage, Soul, K5, the Soul. That is amazing. You would think there would always be a Soul somewhere that I could find. All sold out. So year-end clear-outs are just not going to happen. I mean, maybe you can get a deal on a 10-year-old Saturn. What about that?
Well, I'm sure. It's just, hey, don't buy anything if you don't have to.
Now, the other thing is what we've seen, the trend this year is massive dealer markups. I mean, merciless dealer markups, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. I don't think this can continue once the chips get back rolling in. This is just a short time, right?
Oh, sure. That's guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah. So, once again, folks, if you don't need a car right now, hold until 2022 and see where it goes. I've advised so many people, they go in, they're like, what happened to prices in cars? Why can't I get cars? And then I explain the chip shortage to them. So try to keep driving what you're driving, and then see what happens in the new year. That's our advice to you, right, Les Jackson?
Yep.
Yeah. So, hey, do you want to talk a little tech?
Sure.
All right. Well, Mitsubishi has done something. I don't know why other people haven't thought about it, but, you know, there's landscape and portrait mode in monitors, right? Portrait is standing up. We see it in the Ram pickups. We see it in Volvos. And then landscape is the other way, what we see in the vast majority of vehicles when it comes to screens. Well, Mitsubishi says, why can't you have both? And they've come up with a screen that can be rotated, so it can go like this or this. It's on a swivel, basically, on the dashboard. And just like your phone, when you change the orientation, the presentation of the data will change. I think it's a pretty cool idea. I'm not surprised. I'm kind of surprised that somebody hasn't done it before this.
It seems, so obvious.
Because it's basically a big tablet that you have on your dash. And I think it's a great idea. But, this is just a prototype, and I'm surprised others haven't brought it out. Let's see if Mitsubishi can bring it out quickly, because that's one of the problems they have of getting this stuff out. But I
Now, is the actual screen rotating, or are you touching the screen and rotating the image?
No, the physical screen is rotating. It has like a swivel behind it, as if you mounted your computer monitor on the wall and could swivel it around.
Right.
So cool stuff from the folks over at Mitsubishi. How soon will we see it? I don't know. But I tell you what, it's a pretty good idea, and I think they should execute on it right away and get it going. I think that would be a good thing for them to do and get it out there. I really do. Hey, let's talk a little pricing. Hyundai Santa Fe, you probably can't get it, but if you could find one, let's talk about pricing. The SE model, which is the base, is $28,385. This is for the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe, a $360 increase, not that bad. It kind of moves up the line. The Calligraphy, which is their high-end model, $42,145. That is a deduction of $1,300, $1,300 less.
Yeah, but you can't get them.
You can't get them. The new models for this year, the SEL Convenience Plug-in Hybrid EV, $40,535. Seems like if you get a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, it's $40,000 when it comes to a crossover.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can keep it in the mid-30s probably. And then the limited plug-in hybrid, the top of the range, $46,545, new this year. Probably these things won't be available in your local dealers. That's what I'm just thinking. Not.
Well, that's very useful information.
The money you would spend if you could.
Yeah.
So, interesting vehicles, though. Plug-in hybrids, obviously. If you're not familiar, you plug it in, you get 30 to 40 miles of range. It's just like an electric car. When you go on the road, once the battery depletes, it becomes like a regular hybrid. I think that's one of the best things out there right now.
I agree.
Yeah. So, now Ford Bronco. This is an interesting deal. Ford Bronco. The folks at Ford obviously have been trying very hard to get this out there. People are so excited about it. By the way, people are conquesting to Ford Bronco. They're trading in Jeeps and other things like this. So Ford wants to get this going. They've had problems like everyone else. They've allocated chips to these vehicles, but a big problem they have, all Ford Bronco molded in color hardtops will be replaced. If your vehicle hasn't been built or scheduled yet, you probably won't get it until 2022 at least. They're all getting replacements, and there's a huge parking lot filled with these things waiting for these replacements. Apparently, they were kind of warped and off by a half inch, which means they would not seal well and would not go on easily. Good for Ford fixing this right away. You can change your order to a soft top if you want and get it sooner. But otherwise, you'll be waiting for this manufacturer that did not do a good job with these tops. So Ford's
who is not likely to get further contracts.
No, imagine getting that call Monday morning. Hey, we have trouble with your roof. Oh, yeah, we'll send it back. We'll give you another one. Okay, here's thousands of them. There are parking lots filled with these things because they don't want to release them. They have the roof on it, but I don't know if they're leaking or what. But it's kind of sad. I think it's going to be a while yet for the Bronco to get available, but people are buying them. Bronco conquests are happening, stealing customers from other brands. Ford's got to be exciting about it. Over 70% of Ford Broncos are coming from outside Ford. So over 70% of Ford Bronco orders are coming from outside Ford, and that is big. It's called a conquest in the automotive business, and that is a big conquest, isn't it?
That's right. Once you have a customer, you generally can hold on to them.
I think that probably the same thing is happening with the Mach-E as well. That
Yeah.
yeah. Well, over at Chevy, apparently Guy Fieri has come up with a way to save you time. He's got a hot dog and apple pie all in one. It's something that Chevy uh, told them to do. This reminds me of the English meal that workers would eat. It was kind of a meat pie on one end and a dessert on the other. A time saver from Guy Fieri and Chevy. The apple pie hot dog. We'll be right back with Cruise Control.
Cruise control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Time again for an at-the-wheel review, Les Jackson. This time it is the 2022 Infiniti QX55. And it is quite a handsome vehicle, I have to say. It had this gray color that kind of was different because most of those gray colors like that, kind of a destroyer gray, are typically non-metallic. This one was metallic. This is the 2022 Infiniti QX55 Sensory all-wheel drive vehicle. It's got a 4-cylinder, 2-liter, a lot of tech here. Variable compression turbo engine, 268 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. And the compression ratio can continuously vary between 14:1, which is almost a diesel-type compression, and 8:1. And, of course, it's a turbocharged engine as well. It does this with a multi-link connection from the crankshaft. Pretty cool technology. But overall, we found this vehicle nice. The small size made it feel very sporty. Love the body. Love that styling crease right at the belt line. Clean exterior. The back of the vehicle kind of comes down nicely, although it does not inhibit the rear visibility. Of course, it's got the big Infiniti grille. Nice set of wheels. It is I would say, on the smaller side of the crossover, but was still plenty big to put the rear seats down and have plenty of cargo capability. It really was a high-end looking vehicle. On the inside, there is red and black upholstery, which really, really stands out. Under the hood, as I said, it's got that high-tech variable compression engine. On the road, it's a little revvy. It's a little noisy at times. But still, the performance was great. On the inside, the two-tone dash. It also has 2 screens. So one screen for the media and one screen for the navigation, which I think is nice. That's kind of an Infiniti type of feature. I love the two-tone interior. It was all high-end materials, red and black leather. Really, really snazzy. I like the two screens, so you could always see what's playing on the infotainment system and then see the nav. Rear seat passenger, decent rear room. Not huge, but you do get temperature control and some USB ports and plenty of storage out back under the power tailgate. It is their technology vehicle for sure, as we talked about, the variable compression engine. And it is the high end. This is the high end model, the Sensory. They call it a progressive crossover. I'm not sure why, but that sounds okay. It's 3 different grades. Of course, Sensory being the top of the range, no surprise there. It comes with all the forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot warning, and more. And the ride quality, I would say, was a little stiff on this vehicle, little performance oriented compared to some of the other crossovers. It does well in the frontal crash, 5 stars, and passenger 4 stars. It was not rated in any other crash type scenarios. This is a well-equipped vehicle at the Sensory Edition, and it does get options included by the manufacturer, though, that are additional cost, including premium paint. You and I have noticed this, Les Jackson, that premium paint is a common thing nowadays. $695.
Yeah.
For the premium paint, which is a very cool color, that metallic look. Illuminated kick plate, $350. I think cool to have, but Lighting package, welcome lighting, illuminated kick plates, part of it. Cargo package, reversible cargo mat, cargo blocks, console net, and more. And then it had something on the back, which is interesting. They call it a lifestyle hitch. Now, this vehicle is not tow rated at all. There's no tow rating on it. I don't know if you even can tow on it. I looked in the owner's manual, and I looked online. Couldn't find anything about that. But it is a receiver hitch, and it is basically for putting your hauler for your bicycles or whatever back there. It looks like
that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of people use those. But overall, nice shape to the vehicle, clean design. As I say, you got the styling cue, the very really pronounced styling cues at the upper and lower part of the door. A little bit of a high belt line, a little bit of a sloping rear window, but visibility was not hurt by that. Of course, the beautiful Infiniti grille up front, and premium look, premium vehicle. And, let's talk about the price. $60,495, which is up there. Of course, that includes the $1,025 destination charge. And the mileage, 28 highway, 22 city, 25 miles per gallon fuel economy. So you get that, you have that very sophisticated engine with the variable compression ratio. I guess on the highway gets you up close to 30, but around town it's about normal for a four-cylinder vehicle. It's not really buying you a whole lot. As I said, overall, I found the vehicle to ride a little bit stiffly, and it was a little bit revvy, but I think a lot of people would like that. I think they would like the sporty feel to it. High-end interior. Great things like black natural maple wood on the trim inside, motion-activated liftgate, reverse tilt-down, heated outside mirrors. It's got all kinds of goodies in there. Just high-end. One thing it didn't have, and I'm wondering if it's available, and I don't think it is, looking around on their website, is wireless phone charging. You would think this vehicle for $60,000 would have wireless phone charging, and it doesn't. I guess they just didn't have room to put it in there. What do you think?
Or they didn't think about it.
Whoops. Hey, who put the wireless phone charging in? Not me. Not me. So there you have it, the 2022 Infiniti QX55 Sensory all-wheel drive edition. And got a lot of great vehicles coming up. I was in the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross Sport, and which will be coming up. And then this week I have the new Nissan Rogue. So we'll be getting to those reviews. Rogue, of course, a very important vehicle for Nissan, right?
Oh, yeah. Very popular.
Yeah, very popular. And, so we have a lot of at-the-wheel reviews ready to go. And so stay tuned to Cruise Control for that. And don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. It's all there, cruisecontrolradio.com. And check out our YouTube page, too. We've got a lot of great content up there. If you missed an episode, you can find it there as well. I know Les Jackson goes there all the time, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there you have it. We appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. It's time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
And I'm Les Jackson.
We are glad you're along for the ride, and we will see you next week. Take care.
Bye.